Hello, everyone out there on YouTube or Patreon. Make sure that you go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com to purchase a private psychic reading. I'm your reader for today, Quintarius Shakir, and we're going to be doing something very special for our Black community readings. So even though this reading is geared towards the Black community, this particular reading is helpful towards any human being that is trying to tap into their ancestral knowledge, their ancestral power, or their ancestral treasury. In addition to that, this reading can also help anyone that wants to know about the secrets that can be unlocked through using water. And you want to know about the power of water as not only as a healing force, but also as a force of divination and a way to provide sustenance to the ancestors when they're working their asses off to help you on this side. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using my Animal Kingdom Spirit Board. My Animal Kingdom Spirit Board is specifically designed in such a way that it will tell you the things that you do know from this side and the things that you don't know from this side. This is the masculine, this is the feminine, this is the marketplace, and this is the divine. Okay, so I know that's all very esoteric, but I'll eventually teach classes on these things later. But with that being said, I'm going to throw my bones onto this board. The first question that I'm going to ask overall, I'm going to ask the ancestors to let me know, what is the importance of ancestral worship during these times? Okay. All right, so the importance of ancestral worship. What I'm really seeing here, what's sticking out to me very, very clearly, are these four tokens here. The choose peace token, the strength token, the man, which is face down, and the protection token. They're all over Adam and Eve. Okay, Adam and Eve represents, on this particular spirit board, it represents the fusion of two complementary energies, two energies that are completely transparent with one another. They are conscious of what will happen if they blend themselves together. It could be something that's incredibly beautiful, or it could be something that's terrible and destructive, or it could be something that's a little bit of both and in between. With that being said, the fact that the man is over this particular token is saying that ancestral worship is particularly important to the African American community because it's going to help you to further realize about your power and majesty, the power and majesty that lies in your DNA. That's what I hear. The protection token is laying over this as well, and it's saying that the ancestors will then start offering you protection in your households for Black men, whether you're a Black man that is it doesn't matter who your partner is, but or how you identify, but they're saying that Black masculinity in itself needs the ancestors to help them to protect and provide for society. How can you build the fortress if you don't have the ancestors telling you that this is what the fortress should look like? You're just doing it on your own. The people that came prior to you made sure to encode in your DNA what your destiny should be, what your mission should be. So with this lying, with the protection token and the man token lying over Adam and Eve together, these two things are saying that ancestral worship will provide strength and protection to the community. Ancestral worship, with the choose peace token and the strength token, with those two things having laid over Eve, it speaks about femininity, the divine feminine and Black femininity. It's saying that ancestral worship will help the Black feminine to be more quiet, but still more but strong, quiet and powerful. Quiet, not in that you're silent, but a quiet power in that it's not something that it's like, if you're quiet, then it's not sought after, and it's not idolized, it's not eroticized, it's not how they're saying it to me, it's not give me the words. They're saying that it's a hidden strength, that people should underestimate you. That ancestral worship lets you know that, if the fortress gets taken down, which is the black masculine. If the black masculine gets taken down, people would assume that the black feminine is protected and helpless. But no, it's actually the black feminine that possesses the most powerful strength, in that, you know, if she chooses to be peaceful, that will, if she chooses to be peaceful, then it means that the world is less chaotic. But if she chooses to invoke her ancestral authority and her ancestral power, then she could essentially wreak havoc on the world. But with that said, that's not a bad thing. That's just to say that ancestral worship for the family means that, hey, you know, you're now more powerful. You're more powerful on a metaphysical level. So it's important to be, because I have a doctorate degree. And it's important to be educated, and it's important to be powerful it's important to be powerful in terms of material wealth and popularity and influence. But you also need to be metaphysically powerful as well, because those things, your material power helps you to influence people, but your spiritual power helps you to influence forces and entities that you're not even knowledgeable of, and that you won't even become aware of in their fullness until you're dead. Okay, the wedding ring is over the elephant. The elephant represents an animal that in West African societies, everything on the elephant is valuable, from its tusk to its ears to the skin, the skin on its hide, its toenails, its skeleton. Even the feces of the elephant is valuable, because it provides an incredibly rich amount of minerals to plants through, you know, it's a great fertilizer. So elephant shit is great fertilizer. Everything about the elephant is valuable. Ancestral worship. They're also saying that ancestral worship is important, because with the wedding ring being over this, it's like you then become one with your ancestral value. If this, and the way that they're telling me this, and I know that these words are like, it's all, you know, it's like, you know, take the word ancestral, put it here, but ancestral value is talking about what it is that you're worth, that other people cannot see. So if you feel like you have a great destiny or a great purpose, or you feel like other people like you've been ostracized from society, that you've remained invisible, you didn't get that job, your parents abused you, there was an older sister that was more liked than you. All of that is saying that your ancestral worship helps you to recognize that the negative things that happen to you, don't personalize them, but instead you need to wed yourself to the idea that you are a child of God, that the ancestors have, you know, ensured that you were the strongest sperm cell, or the strongest of those that were enslaved to, and that you've made it this far to survive, and that mission must continue on, and it is valuable, even if your mission is just to sell drugs. It's like, make sure that you're selling high quality content to the community, okay, and do your best at it. Other things that are standing out that are quite obvious are, I get the witch token, which is this particular token. I get the witch token over the good and the probability of luck token. They're supposed to be placed over the moth. The moth represents death. So they're saying that for those of you who are watching this video kind of questioning if systemic racism has a spiritual end to it, like, you know, are police killings of unarmed black men and black women and black trans people, if the systemic killings of black people are blood sacrifices, The witch token being face down and the probability of luck token being face up is saying yes. It's saying that you can think of that in a way as a blood sacrifice, but you should, if that's, but it's like, look, it's a both and, not either or, right? So they're saying that it is a form of systemic racism in which white biases and prejudices are leading to the deaths of innocent African Americans. But it's also saying that another component to it that people may not realize, and it's not even completely necessary for you to know about in order to say that this is an injustice, is that these blood sacrifices are helping the white gods of justice, if that makes any sense. Whatever gods that these people are serving, yes, these sacrifices are making them more powerful, and it is keeping these systems in place on a spiritual level. So with that being said, ancestral worship is incredibly important because the witch token and the probability of luck is saying that your third eye helps you to see things on multiple levels, and you don't reject any analysis, any level of analysis. You see it as a 17 layer cake. You see it as a 17 layer cake. Now, the things that are hidden from us about ancestral worship. I get the dice, which is showing 6, the turtle on its back and the elephant, the intelligence token, the ancestors, and the direction. It's like, okay, as far as the black community goes and the meditation token, the ancestors are like, y'all are a hot mess. Y'all are a hot mess. Y'all need to get it together. And that's why it's like a both and statement. It's like, yeah, there's racism, but there's also like personal accountability as well. But in the context of ancestral worship, your ancestors don't give a fuck about racism. They're like, look, if you are watching this video, did you take 5 minutes out to worship with us? Did you take 5 minutes out to pray? Do you believe with every fiber in your body that you're going to be successful and that this is meant for you? Okay, if you want to be a rapper, do you really believe with every fiber in your being that it's meant for you to be a rapper? Or are you just doing this because you're so fearful that not being a rapper, you're so fearful of not being a rapper? Like, I'm afraid that I don't have a high purpose. And you're afraid to just work as a social worker. You're afraid to just be a teacher. So instead you try to pursue a career as a rapper because you're like, that would make me feel more connected to the community. Essentially, they're saying like there's a mismatch in destiny. If your destiny is to be a white-collar professional or to be a working professional, then accept that and know that that's a very high purpose and that you're supposed to be touching souls, okay? So with all of this being over the sloth represents an animal that spends 97% of its time in trees. It spends 97% of its time eating from that tree, sleeping in that tree, shitting from that tree, having sex in the tree, giving birth in the tree. And the 3% of the time that's not in the tree, it's out of balance. It's complete. That's not your destiny in being the sloth. And on this particular spirit board, the sloth is trying to climb up the tree and it's trying to get to the peach, which is its sustenance. The ancestors token hanging over the sloth is specifically speaking about the African American community being overall lethargic about ancestral worship. Yes, you venerate God. Yes, you may venerate Jesus. And but what about grandma who literally died 2 years ago? Can you not just set up an altar for her? Do you bring her flowers to her grave? Do you take graveyard dirt from her grave and use it in some of your spell work? Or do you take this graveyard dirt and use it to anoint the things that are in your home to bless them with? Or do you even, pray for your grandmother from the other side and send her blessings? Because here's what I'm hearing to tell you. When you pray for your ancestors on the other side, those blessings are like putting money on the books. So they have more energy to expend to help you. So you help them, they help you. Okay. So that's what the ancestors token being over this. This particular token is my direction token. It's pointing to the east. So they're saying that this entire message is spiritual. That's why it's pointing to the east. The 6 and the meditation token over one another are saying that, for the person that's listening to this video and you're like, okay, how long will it take for me to reach spiritual enlightenment, to understand, what it is that my ancestors want from me, or for me to receive divine information from them? They're saying the number 6. So the number 6 is talking about 6 days. It could be speaking about 6 weeks. It could be speaking about 6 months. It could be speaking about 6 years. But we'll get back to the number 6 later because we need to talk about meditation. And the meditation token is my Aborigine shell. I may be pronouncing this incorrectly, but my meditation token is saying that we're lethargic about meditating, that we don't spend enough time in deep meditation. Deepak Chopra has, he says that the word meditation is not the word. He says the word inspiration means to be in spirit. So you need to be meditating to be in spirit, to inspire divine and creative thought. Okay. All right. So the number 6 esoterically represents stability. It means that you need stability in your lifetime. Okay. So this means that meditation will help you to have emotional stability, financial stability. Okay. So spend 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night worshiping the ancestors, visualizing what your ancestors would look like and sticking to that. Ancestral worship is a private affair. People ask me, they'll ask me in a psychic reading, can you tell me who my guides are? I can't tell you who they are, really. I can tell you things about them, but I can't really tell you who they are, because meeting your spirit guides is a private affair, and it usually happens in your dreams. But the number 6 is typically, it's typically related to being human, being stability, and unconditional love. So it's all saying that you will be a human being that is able to give agape love and receive agape love through meditation. And if you're looking for a time frame, stick with it for about 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 days, and watch the results. With the turtle token and the elephant and the snake being on its back. Now, in European cultures, I understand that, and I know this. I know that Christianity came out of North Africa. That's why they said Jesus was black. But anyway, we won't get into that. But the idea that the snake represents a serpent that is out to get you, the snake represents deception. That's not what I believe. I come from, I've adopted my understanding is shaped by West African epistemology. And I believe that the snake represents an animal that is incredibly flexible. It can live in the trees. It can live in the desert. It can live in the water. It can live it's very adaptable. It's a smart animal, and it always finds shelter, and people don't fuck with it. So it's a very intelligent animal. So they're saying that we need to be more flexible. We need to be more flexible in how we do ancestral worship, which is sometimes ancestral worship is not simply just lighting up a candle at your altar. Sometimes the ancestral worship is the family reunion and learning the family history to make sure that the information is passed down from generation to generation. Does your little cousin, if you have a 3-year-old cousin, have they been taught about who their grandfather is and what their grandfather did? The important things, okay? The achievements of the family. Okay, are you all keeping a family record, a family biography? That's what they're saying. They want us to now start creating our own Black Bible, our own Black encyclopedia. The elephant token with the turtle token on its back, the elephant and the turtle are saying that, we are in a position where we're at our most vulnerable. And I feel almost as though this is speaking specifically to African Americans or Black identified people that live in the United States, that you're vulnerable right now. Like you're vulnerable to violence, from, you're vulnerable to white supremacist violence, but you're more so spiritually open. Right now is an amazing time to connect with your ancestors, to give them water, okay? To make sure that they have sustenance. Now, I haven't even gotten into the importance of water yet, okay? So with that being said, a couple of other things that I see that are being hidden from us are, I get the mother token, the power token, and then the owl token all over the woodpecker. They're saying that a lot of us are curious. We're curious about spirituality. We're curious about non-Christian spirituality. And the people that are introducing us to non-Christian spirituality are women, the mothers. Our mothers are exploring these things. Our mothers are being the trailblazers of it. Women are the trailblazers in this new spiritual movement, and they will be the teachers of it. Okay, and they're saying that and the woodpecker is saying that, as long as you continue just poking holes into this, you'll find out, poking holes into non-Christian spirituality, you'll start realizing the importance of ancestral veneration, the importance of ancestral worship. They're also saying that the mothers, like the ancestral mothers, the women that were captured in the transatlantic slave trade, their prayers are being answered through this generation of women. The women that live today, it's like their prayers are answered. Not to say that our foremothers were not the ancestors' wildest dreams, but they're saying that the ability to practice whatever you want to practice, the religion that you want to practice in an open way, and having the ability to say radical things and to take radical action, you're your ancestors' wildest dreams. So to the Black identified women that are asking about the importance of ancestral worship, you will be more powerful. You're powerful now. You will have more knowledge. You will get more degrees. You will be in better health. You will be in better shape. Okay? You will have more friends. You will find more love. You'll find that wife. You'll find that husband. And so, with all that being said, these tokens are specifically saying, keep prying at it, keep picking at it, because there's so much that you all do not know. And it's going to be orally passed down to you, that sort of knowledge. Now, some of the final things that I want to say, because I could keep on with this bone reading, there's so much detailed information on this board. I could talk for the next 45 minutes, but I'm going to pause it here, where I'm going to say that I get my complex simplicity token over the skull, and the complex simplicity token, and the skull represents the cemetery gate. They're both over the swan, and this is saying that they're saying that ancestral worship is a door that you do want to open, because your bloodline will have your back when other deities are finicky, when other deities have particular personalities, when other deities make you feel as though you have to work harder just to get them to open a door for you. Your ancestors will always have your back. Your ancestors are always aggressively working, and sometimes on empty stomachs, which is why we're going to get into water and the power of water. They're always aggressively working on your behalf to open up doors for you. So there are a lot of you that have testimonies about, a job coming through, money coming through, or somebody helping you at a time when you really needed it, and just thank your ancestors for that. But the cemetery gate being over the swan is saying that ancestral worship, although it is beautiful, it is a requirement, and it is a tough requirement, because then you have to start thinking and asking, are ancestors feeling honored by what it is that I'm doing right now. If I'm choosing to lay in bed first thing in the morning, and instead of me spending time with them, I'm texting, looking up gossip sites, I'm zoned out and just brooding about what's to come during that day, you should take time with them in the morning. I hope that you all can use this example to that small example where I'm making the larger point that each and every action that you take, you should think about how your ancestors feel about it. Because if your ancestors don't feel good about what it is that you're doing, then you can only expect for them to take their protection and their protection off of you and their provision from you. Okay, so that means that you will start seeing, random mishaps. You might get a speeding ticket, or you'll see, you'll start randomly losing money. Somebody might steal from you because you don't have the protection, and all of a sudden your business is not making as much money as it needs to, or you don't get overtime the way that you used to, and you don't have the provision anymore. Okay. So that's the importance of ancestral worship from this Animal Kingdom Spirit Board. So make sure that you all purchase a private psychic reading from me, and get a bone reading from me. Okay. All right. So I'm going to now start reading from my other spirit board, and we're going to be asking about the power of water. Hold on one second.
Standing on the rugged ground, it's a shame that I feel bad for them, but so glad